Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of We Got Something to Say. Um, Linda's going to pop on in a minute. I am from a roll solo until that time. As usual, it's been a very tumultuous week in our country. Um, One thing I want to start off with is this the Iranian, an Iranian war. How how we had some young service members get killed at a American base in Jordan. Um, it's the death toll has risen, but what and that's sad. That's bad. That's in my opinion. That's something that we shouldn't be having to deal with in our country at this time. Another war, and I know. Well, let's say this: people in people who've never been in the military um, love to say that people who are in the military, we know when they die, that's what they sign up for. Good morning, Mr. McMillan Jr. Um, but that whole notion that, well, that's what they signed up for in terms of the sacrifices they make by getting injured or losing their lives or anything like that. And I'm gonna be real honest. That's not what they signed up for. That's not what they signed up for. They signed up to some for patriotic reasons because they wanted to serve the country. Some people because they couldn't think of anything else to do with their life, and they figured I can go in the military, do my thing. Uh, um, I can go to the military and and do my thing and uh, get out in 20 years, have a pension for the rest of my life, so on and so forth. Some people did it just because they didn't have anything to do. But I'll say this: nobody signed up to get killed, especially for no reason. Um, the fact that this administration is using the death of these young people, these men and women, uh, as a rallying cry to say now we need to step up our game in Iran or whatever. I'm gonna bomb Iran. I'm gonna inflict pain or whatever the hell rhetoric Trump is using now. The fact that he is doing that, using their death to rile up Americans, piss off Americans, get Americans pissed off so they'll support this war, is uh, unconscionable to me. It's ridiculous because they didn't sign up to die in a war that we created for no reason. They didn't do that. Haven't been in the military. I don't care how gung ho somebody is or was. Um, they didn't sign up to die unnecessarily for nothing. They're not defending our country. They're put in a position where they have to defend themselves because of stuff that you're doing, that he did, that he wanted to do. So that whole part right there bothered me, the whole war and all, and the death and all that. But the thing that got me talking about this morning is the fact that either yesterday or the day before, I'm not really sure. They the White House took those people's names off. It's three of them Um, they said took their name off the website, stating that honoring them on their website for their sacrifice, saying that they didn't die as a result of that war. So instead of the death toll in this war for Americans being around 16, the last three, they said, well, that happened during a ceasefire. So that doesn't count toward the total number of people who died, as if to minimize it, say, because this was some so-called during peace talks or whatever, or when they're not fighting, actively fighting, that their death means less. That's an insult, y'all. That's a straight insult to what they did, to their lives, to their families, hell, to the American people. Anybody that has served in the military will tell you all the things you have to go through to get get into the military. All of that, and the stress, the physical, the mental, all that, and then go through more training after you finish for whatever field you're in, and all of that, and all of that stuff. It's not easy. It's not easy. Uh, 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 and for them to do that is a slap in the face. I don't understand the logic behind it. And some might say, well, 13 to 16, it doesn't make a difference. They're doing it to say, oh, only 13 people have died in this war. That's why they're doing it. They're not doing it for any other reason but to look like the numbers are not as bad as they are. Now, 13 to 16, it doesn't, in the grand scheme of life, it doesn't really make a difference. But you should not take that away from them as if their death didn't matter. Their deaths didn't matter. And that's what they're doing. It's just sinister how they act, the things that they do. And I just don't, there's no logic behind it. This is not a PR campaign. You shouldn't be trying to win the hearts and minds of the people. You should be trying to get your ass out this war, or get us out of this war that you started, that you will never fight in. And I'll say this: I have even less respect for this action, like that it can get any lower, because Trump never served in the military. He got all these deferments when he was young. And not to say, I'll say this: being in the military is not for everybody. There's a lot of honorable people in this country that have never served in the military, that have been presidents and all that. I don't have an issue with him not serving in the military. What I do have an issue with is two things. One, his using a doctor not to serve in the military, buying his way out of service when a lot of young men and women at that fact, well, young men were drafted in the Vietnam War, and a lot of young women served in the military during that time. A lot of people died during the Vietnam War, and he paid his way out of it. And then on top of that, he made statements talking about people who got injured during war. He has no respect for them. POWs, all of this stuff. He's dogged out the families of people whose family members died during war just for political gain. He doesn't care about the military, never has cared about the military. He doesn't care about the military, members of the military. They're just another arm to do what he says. So for this man, this so-called man, and I don't know if it's coming from him or someone in his administration, but For them to do that is very disrespectful. And I never thought I'd have less respect for Donald Trump, but I do. I do. And this game is getting lower every day. But that's what's bothering me. That's what I want to start off talking about. Later on, and Leonard's on here now in case y'all didn't see it. Later on, we're going to have somebody, we're going to have a guest come on. Finally, somebody's brave enough to come on here with us, Leonard. Finally. He's a young man that I think, if I'm not mistaken, he grew up in your neighborhood, right, Leonard? Leonard, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Hold on. Is my thing on? Yeah, that's on. Is it connected? Leonard, I don't know if you're unmuted or something. Your mic's not working. Can y'all hear me? Okay. All right. I can't read lips, but I assume it's something along something along the line of he's trying to work on his mic. But I digress. So we're gonna have him, young man, and I call him young man because he's younger than Leonard and I, but he's, he's like us in our 50s, 50s and 60s. So yeah, brave enough, Stacy. Because y'all scared. But yeah, he's gonna come on and talk about a project that he has going on in Augusta, and it's gonna be it's a very interesting project. And I want y'all to hear about it because it's something, it's extraordinary what he's doing. Also, I gotta say, give a shout out to the McMillans, Marion and Rosalind McMillan. I finally met Marion last Sunday. We had dinner, and then we went to an outdoor concert in Augusta. And we had a good time just talking. So I really enjoyed meeting him and his wife and his bride. And hopefully next time they come through Augusta or I go through Macon, we can, get together again. One thing she did, Miss McMillan did say to me, Leonard, she said, all we talk about is politics. We need to talk about something else. Yes, we win the bottle. Yes, we were at a concert in the bottom at the fairgrounds. Yes, we were. Okay, I'm gonna take you. Okay, you got out the other one. Okay. All right. So yeah, we were in the bottom. You ain't never scared. You ain't never said you wanted to come on. Come on, Stacy. Come on. We put the invitation out there. You've been listening to us for 2 years. We put the invitation out there. You just, if you ain't scared, come on. But yeah, so it was cool meeting up with Marion and his bride, and we had a good time out there in the bottom at the fairgrounds, listening to some good music. So Leonard, you heard what I said before. Now you got your volume straight. Yeah, your mic straight.
Straight as it's gonna get.
Okay. All right. So the comment I made about the about Trump taking it with the Trump administration taking those pictures down of those 3 servicemen who got killed. What you think about that?
Man, I'm at a loss of words, not for the administration. I'm just at a loss of words of nothing he does surprises me because I understand everything that's going on. It's just that it's a grift. And the grift is a grift, and it's a grift by a class of people who have stated time and time again that a certain class of people don't matter. And the grift is real, and the grift is being powered by sexual blackmail. There's no other variable that, in my opinion, that can point to why people are doing what they're doing, why people aren't speaking out, except for somebody has something over you. And we know that the Israeli government has something over many members of our United States government, because the ones they don't have anything over, they call them anti-Semitic, and they run them into the ground. They do what they're supposed to do. I keep telling people AIPAC does what it's supposed to do, which is they fully understand the game and they play it. You all make it, I don't know, but I'm not going to say you, so I'm saying this rhetorically, make it a moral issue when AIPAC is saying it's not a moral issue, this is how you control and you have power. And the sexual blackmail game has been going on for long since the 40s when they realized it would work. So everything that you see right now is all for the purpose, the one purpose. Me and Marion have talked about this. Anishinaabe Jews have said never again will they be in position where somebody controls their security after the Holocaust, under no circumstances. And it's not anti-Semitic to say that. It's, you almost can understand it. They have made the determination that from 1932 up until 1943, nobody came to save them. They allowed people to slaughter them. The world did exactly what it's doing right now in Gaza. And they weren't going to be on the other end of that ever again, even if they got to burn this bitch down. And I believe what some of what Hunter Biden says, some of it. But the point of the matter is so when I see Donald Trump doing what he does, and when I see what he's doing in Iran, and now he's talking about going to Mali and what he did in Venezuela, it's a grift, number one, because if you're in a capitalist society that the world is run pretty much by capitalists, then money is king, and he who has the most money wins. But then you put in another level of immorality, depending on where you sit at it, but brutality. You put a certain level of brutality into it, and you don't care. And you mix that in with a group of people who are less than 2% of the world, but who the world sat down and watched get slaughtered. And I mean slaughtered. Anybody that's done watching any documentaries on the Holocaust know that they slaughtered those people. Now, the reason why those people generate so much hate, I don't know the full story behind it, but we do know that Europe and America watched for a while they got slaughtered, and wholesale slaughtered on an industrial scale. And they've made the decision that's never going to happen to them again, ever, ever, ever. And you pair that with a fascist and an egotistical maniac who's greedy. I just don't understand why we're still surprised by any of this stuff. He doesn't care about those privates or those sergeants. They're just all tools to him, tools to be used by his family and to make money. And they have now merged those two groups. They have now merged the Zionists, racist Zionists, in the Israeli government. And I didn't say, it's hard that you got to say, well, I didn't say everybody, but the people who run the Israeli government right now are really, really racist people. And they have a playbook that's working like a charm, and brutality is a part of it. You can't turn your eyes away from the brutality of it. You shouldn't. And then for our community, you want to play it in our community. We don't control shit. We don't have the will to. We don't even control our own community. So whenever I get on here and I say, hey, I talk about this from the sense of how I see it affected my community. We don't control anything in our community. We're not even in the parking lot of this game. And the reason we're not in the parking lot of this game because we don't have the will to do what we need to do to be in not only the parking lot, in the building, in the rooms, demanding as a group of people, 47 million who are very, very powerful. I know I'm all over the place, but I'm not surprised. I'm wondering why everybody else is surprised. Like I'm always wondering, why is everybody surprised? What are you surprised by? What are you surprised by them going into Venezuela and stealing $13 billion worth of oil? Why are you surprised? Why are you surprised they're in Iran? Why are you surprised that Israel is doing what they're doing in the suburbs of Lebanon? I'm not in. Didn't know I was out. Are you in? Hold on, y'all. It seems we seem to be having some problems here. I don't know what Kenneth's talking about the same time. So I'm not really surprised by anything that's going on. As far as uh, let's see. Kenneth, are we on the same show? Because I got 5 people here, and you're saying come back in. Come back in where? Okay, y'all, I'm gonna go out because it seems for some reason that we are not thinking